Well, good evening, muddy funsters, and how the devil are you? I can scarcely express what a sheer orgasmic joy it is, as always, to be here with you for this rather special Thursday night live. And what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, I'm not absolutely sure. I do know, however, what I'm going to be drinking tonight, and I'm jolly excited about it. And we'll get onto that very shortly. But I need to see who's here. I would like to hear how you are. I'd love to know how your day's been. I am agog. Look at me. Look, I am agog to know what you had for dinner. Oh yes. Yeah, anything else that you care to throw at me? Let's have an open night, shall we? Anything that you would like to talk about, feel free. Oh, I know what I thought of. I don't think we've ever discussed. What is your favourite, all-time favourite book? A book that maybe you've read over and over again and that you would unhesitatingly recommend that everybody else should read. And I've said that now, and I haven't thought of one myself, but I'll probably think of a few over the space of the next 60 minutes with which we are going to enrich ourselves in each other's company. I have thought of one immediately. The Choir Boys, Joseph Wambow, I think. Sensational book. It's a bit near the knuckles, so I wouldn't read it if you're of a delicate persuasion. But it's it is a utterly sensational book, and it's probably not about the Choir Boys that you're thinking about. But there we are. Excellent. Who's here? Matt, Jimmy, Trace, Mike, Chaz, Mickey Jeffries. How you feeling, mate? I heard you were poorly. Hope you're feeling better. Bad Books. Wonderful. Oh, Mickey, bless you. You've become a channel member again. That's really good of you. Thank you very much. Oh God, that means I'm going to have to change my outro again. I've only just done a new one. Not that I mind in the least. I'm delighted to change it for the very nicest of reasons. It's a pleasure to change it when somebody else joins. Not so much when somebody leaves, but there we are. So good evening to all of you. Right, let's play through some comments now. Said hello to everybody. Before we get on to the important thing of the night. Oh, what was I going to tell you? As I said I would be, I was in Wetleg again tonight. And as I was in Wetleg, I thought I haven't done the driving home from work challenge thingy for a while. So I thought I'd have a go in Wetty. And it didn't go entirely well. No disasters. It's just that I decided to come the main road route, which is a bit longer, only because the road surfaces after the winter are so bad on the cut-through route that with Wetty's suspension the way it is, I daren't risk hooning it over them because you do damage. There are some potholes so big that there were entire tribes of people living in them. So I thought I'd come the main road, and I knew I was going to hit a bit of traffic, and there'd be traffic lights and whatnot. What I wasn't expecting was at the first island to pick up a sodding police car that sat behind me all the way. So, as you can imagine, I obeyed the speed limit rather strictly, so I abandoned the attempt halfway through. So there you go. I've told you about something that isn't going to happen. So that's brilliant broadcasting, isn't it? God almighty. I bet the radio stations are queuing up to give me a slot. Boaty, telling you about things that didn't happen. Wonderful. Now then, let's look for some, oh God. I'm not going to read all the bad jokes out. Everybody's saying hello, that's jolly nice. Underscore. Matt says, is he going to berate me for an hour over my wine choice again? Well, we will see, but I'm rather hoping that I won't be. I've got high hopes for tonight's tipple, and I really am looking forward to it. Oh, we're getting onto the meals. Excellent. Matt had meat and potato pie. Now, if you're not familiar with Matt and his culinary doings, he's a man who, as far as I can tell, exists solely on homemade pies, southern fried chicken things, bird's eye chicken doings with savoury rice, McDonald's and Mars bars. I may be wrong and he may shout at me. But anyway, he had pie. Trace for dinner had a chicken doner kebab with salad. Now, is that possible? Is that possible, I ask you? Can you have a chicken doner kebab? I'm going to go out on a limb without doing any research into it and say that no, it's not possible. You can have a chicken kebab or you can have a doner kebab, because I'm pretty sure that, isn't it? Tell me if I'm wrong or tell me if I'm right. Jimmy Quinn had crispy barbecue pork and salad in a wrap. That sounds rather good. Evening all, says Black Lines. Hope your meeting wasn't too stressful, Boaty. No, it was all right, actually. It went better than expected. I got there in decent time. I found my parking spot of choice, and it went okay with a potential bonus. Now, because after the main meat of the doings, the chaps I was talking about, we got on to talking about YouTube. And, I just think of this as me and you guys. But of course, in theory, now that the channel is monetized, it is in theory a business. And a couple of the chaps I was talking to, who are all local businessmen, said, oh, you should apply to this thing. That's a new business and you're based in Derbyshire. There's this council thing and they've been given a pot of money to give grants to local businesses that are under 12 months old. And I thought, well, can't hurt, can it? If they wanted to throw some money at me so I could get a gimbal and a decent camera and a decent camera mount, then I wouldn't say no. So I fired an email after them. I'm not counting on anything happening, but you never know. So we'll see what happens there. And thank you for asking. Mickey Jeffries says, I had roast chicken, mash, fresh green beans and cabbage. Oh, God, oh, hello. Oh, Nick's late home, isn't he? He's just rocking up in his RAV4. Nick is my ex-policeman neighbour with the enormous collection of cars and bicycles. And by bicycles, I mean motorised bicycles, not proper ones. And he's been out late and he's been out in the, I don't know why, I mean, he's got this amazing collection of cars and they are amazing. Like, he's got 3 or 4 Porsches, all nice ones. And he tools about in a bloody RAV4. And not even a new one. And he sold his beautiful Range Rover Sport. I'd have kept that and sold the RAV. Anyway, I wonder where he's been. It's dreadful, isn't it? Nosing through the window. That's the thing with having a shared lane, a shared private lane across all of the back of these cottages. And I never close my curtains. And you look out and you see something, you can't help but have a nose. I wonder if they walk past at night and have a look in and see me talking to nobody and Wonder what the bloody hell he's doing now, the mad old bastard. Anyway, right. 50, oh, we're on to books. Jolly good. Matt says, now is this going to be a serious thing, or is it going to be Matt being Matt? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we, my loves? 50 Shades is meant to be a good book. Well, my neighbour's wife certainly enjoyed it while sitting in their rather voyeuristically positioned hot tub. Okay, well, that's not an out-and-out joke, but neither is it an out-and-out recommendation, because it's meant to be a good book. Well, you haven't actually read it. So what about a recommendation of something you've actually readed? And yeah, I know that's not a word. I'm just being silly. Pingu Concord, Pingu Concord, Pingu Concord's pozzering pants. Pingu Concord is in our midst and says, good evening, Admiral Boticus Butticus. And good evening to you, Pingu. And I enjoyed reading your glad tidings that the Honourable H.J. Rover has now got an MOT. And it suddenly occurred to me that as well as having an MOT, he's got a Facebook page, Pingu. Would you like to take it over? Or are you not bothered with such nonsenses? Do you think it's catastrophically idiotic for a car to have a Facebook page? Possibly you do, or possibly you don't. I don't know. I'm just putting those two possibilities out there. Here's one, here's t'other. GPS OMG is with us. Windy Bottom is live again with Dodger Podger Boaty. Good evening. Good evening to you. And then Mike says, Classic Wheels Wales, of course. How are you finding the Land Rover? Well, I just look outside the front door in pole position and there it is, Mike. Mike, I am in love with the Land Rover. I love it much more than I ever thought I would. There's a couple of issues that I would like to sort to make it even better, but nothing drastic. All of the serious stuff is wonderful. I mean, it drives like a Freelander, but, you know, it just drives fantastically, and I love pretty much everything about it. The issues I've got to sort are, it has a leaky sunroof, and having done my Inspector Boaty job on the bodywork, I suspect it's had a leaky sunroof for some time, because there is evidence of tape residue around the sunroof, where clearly it's been sealed up at some point, and either by accident or design, it will tilt but it won't slide, and there's evidence inside of some crusty bits where it's obviously been leaking. So I would love to get that sorted. In an ideal world, I'd like to have it properly sorted so that it doesn't leak and it actually completely works as a sunroof, but I'd settle for it just not leaking. Excuse me. I need to sort the aerial out because the aerial is snapped off, but it's snapped off in that annoying way. Same as on Wetleg, same as on the MGF. It's snapped off, leaving the residue of the aerial thread in the aerial mount. So either I need to replace the aerial mount, or I need somebody cleverer than me, or at least with a drill, which I don't have, to do something clever with the drill in order to get the residue of the thread out. I believe you drill a little pilot hole with a tinky tiny little drill, and then you either put an extractor screw in there, or you use left threaded drill bits in increasingly large sizes until it spins itself out. And then the other job that I would love to do is sort the stereo out. Again, we're in the area of the onboard gramophone. Some, in fact quite a few, of the speakers aren't working and the sound is dreadful. basically all you can hear is the tinny tweety bit of the Harman Kardon tweeters in the window corners, and the awful. It's got a bloody great subwoofer in the toolkit bit in the boot, because it's, you know, top of the range HSE thing. So it's got this. I mean, it's an incredible stereo system. It's you know, as gramophones go, it's most awfully good. But I need to get the speakers sorted, by which, of course, I mean I need somebody else to sort them for me. By which, of course, I mean that I need to get hold of the money to pay somebody to do it for me. But those are very minor quibbles in, and what is it, 18-year-old Land Rover. On the whole, I'm just absolutely thrilled. I'm head over heels. It's it is my favourite car, Mike. And thank you and Chops for making it come into my life. Alan Jones is with us. Good evening, Boaty, says Alan. Hope you're well. And same back at you, Alan Jones. Thank you for being... Oh, God, here we go. Thank you for being here. He's back again. My absolutely favourite viewer. It's Hair Dumpy Dump. And if you weren't watching last night's live stream, or whenever it was, I think it was last night, Hair Dumpy Dump is the name of Mr. Bump in the Mr. Men books translated into German. And I just think it sounds wonderful, Hair Dumpy Dump. And if I was starting this channel again over from scratch, it would be called Hair Dumpy Dump. And it would be even more unsuccessful than this one is, I imagine. Anyway, Hair Dumpy Dump says, Guten Abend, Herr Boaty. And I say, Guten Abend, Herr Dumpy Dump, wie geht es? Bad Books says, Mrs. Books made pork chop and lentil salad for tea. What, just one pork chop? What did you do? Share it? Between how many? Just you and Mrs. Books? Or did all the children have to share this one and only pork chop as well? That reminds me of my childhood. Many was the Sunday where we only had a single lamb chop to share between my mother and my father and the other 23 children. And my mother, who was a very wise woman, we all took it in turns to have a chew on the lamb chop. But the rule was you weren't allowed to swallow it. And my mother, crafty wise woman, tied a piece of string to the bony part of the chop, so that if any of us tried to cheat and swallow it, she could just quickly hoik it back out, and then we'd have to miss our turn as punishment the next time the chop went round the table. We were poor, but we were happy. Well, not that happy, if I'm totally honest. It was a bloody miserable childhood. Dear God. Oh dear. A council estate in Redditch. Lovely. Oh dear. Oh dear old Matchborough. It was lovely when we first moved there. Just became a shithole. Liz Jabberwocky 220 GTI says, hello, sorry I'm late. Hello everyone. Hello to you, Liz. Roger Boaty's here. Oh God, here we go. No, Roger Boaty, no. What's that on top of your fridge, asks GPS. OMG! Is it a tripod? Yeah, it is. It is indeed a tripod. There you go. One tripod. And it, I put it up there until I decided on where it should live. And it's just kind of been there. It's not a typical kitchen accessory, I grant you. But there we are. That is my larger tripod. You, of course, my lovelies, you are currently all perching on my tiny tripod, which, as some of you will recall, is called Sonia, after a small person that I know. A small foreign person of foreign extraction, who is also called Sonia, but with a J. How exotic is that? And like the tripod, she is small but perfectly formed. Now for, oh right, Mike's grub this evening was spinach and feta wrapped in phyllo pastry. Well, Mike, where was the meat? Where was the meat? Mike, a tiger doesn't eat only grass. I think you know what I'm saying, and you need to keep your strength up, mate. Now, I am not an indiscreet person, my lovely. My lovelies, that was not just addressed to one of you. I did mean that to be a collective, a group of, what would the collective noun be for lovelies? What would you call a group of lovelies? Let's have your idea. A group of lovelies, a blessing of lovelies, a beautification of lovelies. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that I don't talk out of school, and you know, if a friend of mine had a lady friend who was possibly significantly younger, I wouldn't mention it. Absolutely not. Get some steak down you, Mike. A man can't survive on bloody feta cheese and spinach, for Christ's sake. No good for anybody. Alan Jones Hayes, for tea I had homemade lasagna and garlic bread. Excellent. Oh, hang on. Right, Tracy's going to clear up something that I mentioned earlier. The chicken came off a massive donor spit that spins in front of a heater. Yeah, we're all familiar with the elephant's leg, Trace. And it's called chicken donor or chicken meat, defo not shish or kofta, etc. Yeah, no, right, no. I'm still saying no. Unless somebody has got some additional information, I am going to say that that is not a doner kebab. I think a doner kebab refers to the donor meat, which is lamb mixed with crap and spices and grease, right? That's a doner kebab. A chicken kebab, I don't care if it's on the same spit or skewer as a doner kebab has been previously or will be again. It still doesn't make it doner. It's chicken. It's a chicken kebab. And saying it's definitely not a shish or kofta, etc. Well, I would argue that it could be a sheikh kebab, because sheikh kebab refers to the sheikh is the, well, what you have called a spit. That's actually called a sheikh. The metal pole that the kebab is molded around, that's called a sheikh. So technically, any kebab that is cooked on a sheikh is therefore by definition a sheikh kebab. So I would postulate, Trace, that what you ate tonight was a chicken kebab, or, you know, depending on what kind of chicken kebab it was, could be a chicken shawarma or whatever, but it was a chicken kebab or a chicken sheikh kebab. Definitely not a chicken doner kebab. I'm not having that. I'm putting my foot down with a firm hand, young lady. Unless I will stand to be corrected if somebody can give me the assurity that I am in fact wrong. I doubt I am, though. I'm not often wrong. I remember thinking I was wrong in September of 1983, but I was wrong about that because I wasn't wrong, I was right. So there you are, which technically means I was wrong, I suppose. God, I'm looking forward to stopping talking and drinking this beautiful wine. Oh dear. Right. Oh, now then. Favourite book, says Bad Books, which is kind of an unfortunate name now, isn't it? Favourite book is David Niven, The Moon's a Balloon, his early life story. He had a cheap banger Bentley blower after the war. Now then, Bad Books, You're leaning against an open door with me on that one. I loved The Moon's a Balloon. And David Niven had a most interesting childhood. Now, when he was at, obviously he went to public school, and I can't remember the name of the school, forgive me, but he lost his virginity to a London street walking prostitute with whom, I can't remember her name either. Bad books will know. I haven't read that book for ages, but I've read it 100 times, if not more. Yeah, he continued to have this relationship with this nice prostitute throughout to the end of his school days, effectively, and she even visited him at the school. And his headmaster came over to where they were sitting on the field having a picnic. And of course, you know, this is a very posh public school from where people go on to Sandhurst to become officers. And she sort of said in her lovely Cockney way, "Oh, isn't he lovely? You don't look a bit like a school teacher, do you, dear?" And the headmaster just was absolutely lovely with her and said, David is lucky to have such a charming visitor, which is a good mark for the headmaster, I think. And the headmaster also didn't expel David Niven after he was caught cheating, but he did belabour his buttocks with 6 of the very best, which, if I remember the wording correctly, left him trumpeting like a rogue elephant as he fled the headmaster's study, clutching his beleaguered buttocks. But yeah, it's a brilliant book. I would definitely recommend it to anybody. And his follow-up book, his follow-up autobiography, which was called Bring on the Empty Horses, was also not quite as good, but it was a good read and an interesting insight into Hollywood of that period, although elements of that book have been called into question. For example, he talks about a night on a yacht with Frank Sinatra, and Richard Burton was also there on that night, and says that the way that it was recounted by David Niven was entirely 100% inaccurate, which tends to cast it depends who you believe. I would always believe Richard Burton, but it does then cast doubt on some of the other stories, including a very weird story where he's locked in a house with Marilyn Monroe, who is desperately trying to shag him. But there we are. So thanks for that, Bad Books. That's our first book recommendation, and one that I heartily agree with. GPS brings us back to food and says, oh, he had hot dogs and French fries with mustard and onions. Well, oh God, here we go again. I'm going to have to quibble. And homemade sausages from the local butcher. Now, if you have a sausage in an elongated roll, is that a hot dog? That's the question that I'm going to put out to you. Or is it only truly a hot dog if it's a hot dog sausage, i.e. a Savoy type of sausage rather than a real sausage? I've got quite a firm opinion on this, but I'll keep my mouth shut. You've had enough of my opinions. But I'll throw that out to you. Is a hot dog if it's not made with a hot dog sausage, if it's made with an actual from the butcher's sausage? Over to you on that one. Black Lines had chicken steaks, chips and beans, because that's what I was given. God above, well, that sounds like you dined at a school cafeteria, Black Lines. Simone is with us and says, hello, Boaty. Hello, Simone. Hope you're doing okay, my lovely. And she then follows up by saying, buttocks to all, which is rather lovely. Oh, hello. Oh, God. I should have expected this, shouldn't I? I should have expected this. There was me talking about, is it daft for cars to have a Facebook page? And who should be commenting now but a new viewer, the Honourable HJ. I should have seen that one coming. Oh dear, Matt's just held half a glass of water over the Chromebook carpet, and he hopes that everybody else is doing doing rather better. Classic Britain has joined us and is more than welcome. You are not once welcome, Classic Britain. You're not even twice welcome. No, you are thrice welcome. Thrice welcome, Classic Britain. Thank you for being here. And the Honourable HJ says, yeah, that's right. I'm legal, single, and ready to mingle. There we are. Sunday's plan, on or off, says Matt. On, I think. Don't, oh right, it's Jimmy again, no escape, lol. No, I'll count you as somebody different. Which Jimmy? Which Classic Britain? Oh, hang on. Right, I might have misread that. Anyway, Pingu Concord, Pottering Pants says, don't forget to send the scratch cards to your lovelies. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I kind of did forget. I had that meeting and stuff. And I managed to, I had to get up all early and edit a video and schedule that and get that out. And I was really proactive and did a new thumbnail for tonight, and I completely forgot about them. But I will definitely send them soon. Soon. Yeah, I will. I'll steal some envelopes from work and buy a couple of stamps. That'll be a start. I mean, we've actually got a post office post box here in the village. I don't think it gets used much. So it shouldn't be a great hardship. And I should really have things like that in stock. That's kind of an adult thing to do, isn't it? To have envelopes and stamps in stock. And I have got jiffy bags in stock. And the big stamps for the large letters, so that I can send gloves if anybody would buy some. Nobody's bought any for weeks, but I haven't got an envelope. Oh, I might have an envelope. There might be an envelope in my envelope drawer, or at least it used to be my envelope drawer. But that was before Chinese Madam got her hands in my drawers. And I'm not sure what sort of drawer it is now. But, oh, could it? Oh, no, I'm not sure if that. Oh, it is still there. I might have some envelopes somewhere. The envelopes I'm thinking of are envelopes that I didn't steal them. I took them from the Hotel Monte Gueldo, which has regular view. Frog and throat. That came from nowhere. Right, at that point, we've been going for 35 minutes, my love, and we haven't got the wine out. Let's get the wine out and get on with tonight's wine tasting, and then I'll come back to the comments. I'm so excited about this. The glass is chilled. The wine is also chilled. And again, I have the lovely underscore, Matt, to thank for this. Tonight, my darlings, we have gone up market. What we've got here is Louis Jadot Mâcon-Villages. Now, I will freely admit I know nothing whatsoever about this particular vineyard or this particular grape. So, yeah, it's going to be a voyage of discovery. I did look it up online. This is not a wine that I would normally drink because this is a 4-figure bottle of wine, my darlings. None of your 3-figure nonsense. 4-figure bottle of wine. So this is an enormous treat for me. and I am incredibly grateful for it. Especially after last night's bloody Sauvignon Blanc little vinegar that, I mean, I finished it, don't get me wrong. And I was grateful for that as well. I mean, it's still booze, isn't it? But, and I enjoyed the sensation of having a bottle of booze washing about inside me. But I didn't enjoy getting it in there. Oh, did you hear that? That is a proper pop, that was. And this, my loves, look at that. That is a proper French cork. Check that out. Beaune, France. Louis Jadot. Fondé en... Oh, God, am I going to have to read that out in French now? 1859. 1859. There we are. Oh, God. I'm looking forward to this. Here we go. Oh, I'm all excited now. I'm just going to whiz through a couple more comments and enjoy the anticipation of this glass of splosh. I'm really going to work up to it. Where did I get to? Oh, I'm glad you like it, Boaty, says Mike Classic Wheels. Well, no, honestly, Mike, I had no idea how much I would like it. I was buying it, as you know, just as a winter hack, because I didn't expect to like a Land Rover. I've had Range Rovers, which I loved. I've never had a modern one. I've only ever had the classic shape. One of my favourite cars of all time, as I've mentioned before. I had the, oh God, what was it called? The LSE, Range Rover LSE, the long wheelbase 4.2 V8. God, that was fabulous. And I had I had a 3.9, bit of a hack that I used to hack around the Brecon Beacons in. And I did have a Discovery 1, which was a little bit too agricultural for my tastes. So I wasn't expecting to really, I didn't think I was a Land Rover person. And I've never owned a Defender because I absolutely hate them. I just don't see what the appeal is. Bloody awful. I mean, I've sold loads of them, but Jesus God, I would never want to own one. So I bought it, Mike, just as you know, as a winter hack, as a capable 4x4, so I don't get in the shit in the snow again next winter. But I love it. It's my favourite car, and I want to improve it and cherish it. And I've got it penciled in as one of the never get rid of cars. I really have. What? Go head over, mate. Head over. Oh, it's bad books. Oh, okay, right, jolly good. I'm currently attempting to get my stepdad to sell me his Renault Fuego. Now then, it hasn't moved out of the garage for 12 years. I'd love to have a crack at putting it on the road. Some of the most comfortable seats ever made in the Renault Fuego, and lovely big old doors. I thought it was a Fuego Turbo like he had when I was growing up, but sadly he only managed to get a GTS. Still a cool project. A cool project though, I think. I agree. Noodles, says Matt. Stew and dumplings for me, says Steve. Oh, Trace. I love that. Trace, you have nailed it. You have Jimmy Quinn, you haven't nailed it. Jimmy Quinn's idea for a collective noun for lovelies would be a load of fuckers. But Trace has nailed it, and we're going with this. I don't care what other suggestions come in. Trace has suggested a cutch of lovelies, and I think that is fantastic. And that is now an official thing. It is the collective noun for lovelies, like you lot. You are a cwtch of lovelies. And for those who don't know, cwtch is a Welsh word, and it means the best cuddle that you've ever had. A hug and a cuddle. There's no sauciness. There's no saucy meaning. It's just like, imagine the best hug stroke cuddle that you could ever have, and multiply it by 2 and make it Welsh, and that would be a cwtch. So a cwtch of lovelies is perfect. And honestly, you've just improved my life, Trace. Honestly, I'm so much, life is better for me now. Splendid. Donna is lamb and beef, says Mike. Classic Wheels Wales. So right, thank you for that, Mike. So you can't have a chicken Donna. I was absolutely correct. So thank you for backing me up, Mike. You can get a mixed kebab with 4 different meats, says Jimmy Quinn. God, you're happier talking about kebabs than you are books, aren't you? Hang on, I can't hold off any longer. Here we go. Here we go. Cheers to you all. Bottoms up. Your very good health. Thank you, Matt. My joint favourite viewer. He shouted at me, but I didn't read it out. Yeah, you see? Right? I said before, white wine doesn't really have a nose. But when I shoved my hooter into the glass last night with that dreadful Sauvignon Blanc, right, acid hit my nostrils straight away. None of that here. This is floral, fragrant. Oh yes. Now we're back to the night before last. That went straight to the back of the palate, and it's lingering there now. And like that other French wine the night before last, that's going round the back of the palate, around the throat, and as it rolls down, it's sending out little tendrils of warmth, comfort, and joy all the way down. It's got, I don't know how to describe that. It's got a citric edge to it that the Languedoc didn't have, but it's not an unpleasant one, not in any way, shape, or form. It's I'm getting apple. I'm actually getting apple, but a really crisp. Yeah, that is a really, really nice citric edge to that. And that just, you've got the warmth, you have got the warmth on the palate and going down, but it's with an additional citric edge, which would actually make it a really good wine for certain meals, I think. I'm just gonna, I didn't read the bottle. I'm gonna have a little read of it. No, I'm not. It's too dark. I can't see. No, I should have looked on the website. I can't read that writing, it's too small. I'm old, and small writing is just impossible for me unless it's full light. It's only kind of half lit here in the cottage. And I've got absolutely no chance of reading text that small, but oh, we're back on track after last night. That is very nice. Yeah, that is nice. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If I had a straight choice between that and the Languedoc that I had the night before last, I'd go for the Languedoc. But that's not to take anything away from this. In fact, no, I'm going to qualify that. I'm going to qualify that, and I'm going to do so very, very exactly. So bear with me. Bear with me. Right, now then. If I was... Let's imagine that we're all in Malta, okay? We've all gone on holiday together, and we're all in Malta. Now, if we're in the square in the middle of Valletta, and it's a hot May lunchtime, and it's about 12:30, 1:45, and we're sitting in that fabulous restaurant in the square in the shadow of St. John's Cathedral, and we've just ordered lunch, and we've ordered wine to go with the lunch. I've gone for, what have I gone for? I've probably gone for a chicken dish or maybe a rabbit dish. Then I would order this. But if we'd been to the casino and it's now midnight and we're, oh God, it's still throwing out that warmth, and now it's reached all the way down and it's throwing out the warmth across my big fat belly. And that's a wonderful feeling. Yeah, if it's midnight and we're sitting on our balcony or in our private garden, if we took one of the suites, oh, that really is, oh my God, that's extraordinary. I've never known a wine to, I'm not making this up. Genuinely, that's just, it's like erupting in the old bread basket, not in a bad way. It's an exceptional feeling. It's almost like an orgasm. Apologies, ladies. That really is extraordinary. Goodness gracious me. Yeah, but imagine it's midnight. We're in our suite on the ground floor of the Dolmen, just on that bit in between the main hotel and the casino where the suites are. And within our little private garden bit, oh no, we'd be this side, looking over the Mediterranean there. Trace is probably in the jacuzzi, and Mike's probably, I don't know, Mike might be, well, he's drinking in the kitchen, but he's also making a bit of supper for us all. And you and the rest of us, you're out with me and we're on the balcony and we're in the garden, lolling, relaxing, and we open a bottle of wine. Then I would order the Languedoc. Yeah, I think this is a lunchtime wine and the other was a late evening wine. I think I've nailed that. Am I making any sense at all, or am I just talking absolute hairy-arsed bollocks? I don't know, but I'm enjoying doing it, so I shall carry on. Now then, that'll teach you. A cwtch of lovelies. I love that. Where did I get to? Ah, right, GPS weighs in on the kebab debate. Doner kebab, or doner kebab, is seasoned meat, beef, lamb, or chicken. Oh, now then, is it? Is it? I want to Google, but I can't go away from the page. I'm going to Google after this, and we may revisit this, the Great Doner Kebab Debate. That'll be the episode of, that'll be the title of this episode, I think. The Great Doner Debate. Changing subject, Bad Book says, fantastic behind the scenes video tonight, Boaty. Thank you. Showing Mustard, the master craftsman YouTuber, creating a masterpiece. Well, that's that's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? And damning with faint praise. You're praising me for making a great video, but it's a great video because I'm showing somebody who's a lot better than me doing his thing. But, I'll take that. I'll take that. He is very good at what he does, and it is interesting to watch him doing it. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Mustard and his madness. Oh, we're talking about me being wrong. Matt says bedtime stories are wrong, but in another sense they're so right. Jimmy Queen says you are wrong, Boaty. Oh, Christ help us. Here we are. Herr Dumpy Dump. I don't speak German, or not much German, and what little German I did speak I've forgotten, so this is pushing it. Mir geht es sehr gut, danke. My something is very good, thank you. Zu meinem Abendessen hatte ich eine große scharfe Wurst und veal beer. God knows. Something has. I have a big scharfe Wurst. I don't know. I've got a big sausage of some sort and some sort of beer. I'm guessing. Das machte mich zu einem sehr zufriedenen Dumper. Fuck knows, not a clue. Ollie Owls is with us. One of our community channels, Ollie Owls. Do check him out. But it's actually my old mate Steve, who, God, we've been online buddies for 20 plus years now, blimey. Anyway, he says, evening, I'm just here for the ghosts in the kitchen as usual. We've got one health review. Madonna's Sex Book is your favourite read, Boaty, and that's from GPS. I've never read it or looked at the pictures. There is a picture of Madonna that I very much like, and it's not a sexy picture. It's a picture of her about to go out riding on a top-level, beautiful Italian road bike, all dressed up in lycra. And that's a picture that I like very much. More for the bike than her, in many ways. Rover Joe is amongst us and says, Mr. Boaty, I've been a bit of a plonker. My degree work is due in on Monday and I'm nowhere near finished. Oh God, well, I feel that pain. I feel that pain, as does anybody else who's done a degree of any nature or any other form of academic qualification. It is de rigueur to leave everything until the very last minute. Sometimes with many of us, that's when we actually put out our best work, when our backs are well and truly against the wall. So good luck for, oh Christ, Monday. And I bet you're going to POL, aren't you? Well, enjoy the sleepless nights ahead, Rover Joe, as you catch up on it. Mike's favourite book is 1984. And I'm going to admit something shameful here. 1984 is, of course, George Orwell. And it is an absolute classic. And I would expect anybody who claims to be any form of bookworm to have read it. And I'll be completely honest with you, I'll own up, I've never read it. And what's What's going on? Oh, I'll have a look at that in a minute. And not only have I not read the book, but of course there was at least one film of 1984, and it featured, I believe, I think John Hurt was in it, but I'm sure it featured Richard Burton in voice, if not in character. And I haven't seen the film either. So I'm going to put that on my to-do list for this year. Must read 1984. Obviously, I know that that's where Big Brother came from. But yeah, I must add that to my doings. GPS isn't interested in a synthetic sausage. And Matt says, if you put your sausage in an elongated bun, you get arrested. Well, I did anyway. Ah, there we are. Oh, Christ almighty. God, am I going to have to relearn German? Mickey Jeffries has jumped in. Guten Abend, Herr Dumpy Dump. Bratwurst oder Bockwurst? So, we're on a sausage discussion here with old Dumpy Dump. Oh dear, sorry to hear that, Rover Joe. Oh hello, Mustard's here, or was here at that particular point in time. So hang on, long way up, short way down. Good evening, Captain. Held for review. Okay, Mustard appears to have developed Tourette's. Fucking heel. Dunno. Bollocks. And shitty turds. Well, that's nice. And then has the barefaced cheek to follow that up with hello nice people and Mike. Well, I think we can gather that Mustard's on one again. Never die in a live stream is Mustard's sage advice to me, and I'll try not to. Time for another sip of this rather lovely wine. Thank you again, Matt. On the whole, in terms of unpaid interns, I would have to say you've excelled yourself, dear boy. Now, that was nice, but in my mind, I'm waiting for 3 or 4 minutes until I get that orgasm in my stomach. That is, I can't remember the last time I got that from a wine. It's an extraordinary thing. Look at that. An orgasm, and I don't even have to put a sock in the laundry. Wonderful. Blackline says, if the envelopes haven't moved for a while, does that make them stationary? That's quite good, actually. So you don't class it as stealing. I would class it as acquiring. Well, yeah, I would, because we're talking about the envelopes that I took from the Hotel Montego Weldo. They're placed there for the guest's use. Now, I was a guest, a paying guest, on several occasions. Now, I may not have used them there and then, but if they're there for my use, then why shouldn't I take them and use them at my leisure? Why not, indeed? Mike says, Paul, you're a massive twat. Mustard says, I love you, Mike. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Are Kia drivers the new Audi drivers? I vote yes. I hope it, oh God. Right, here we are. Splendid. Joseph Lloyd Constabulary Consultancy is amongst us. See, I've got Policeman Badger on the brain since my drive home. And predictably, he opens his message with, good afternoon. Congratulations on your spiffing channel. Oh, hang on, you've just become my favourite person. Good afternoon. Congratulations on your spiffing channel. I prefer your review of the Freelander to the other hairy chap's version. Keep up the top class content, my good fellow. Joseph, you're welcome here anytime, dear boy. Thrice welcome. Mustard says, defenders are wonderful, but also horrible. No, they're just horrible. Didn't you only get stuck in the snow once, asked _, and right outside your house? Well, yeah, I did, but the snow wasn't all that bad for all that long this winter. Blackline says, defenders require you to wear a wax jacket at all times. There's some truth in that. Thank fuck, I'm still unpaid, says Matt. I was worried. A book's no good for me, says Jimmy Quinn. I'm dyslexic. Okay, we live in the age of the audiobook, Jimmy. So I take your point about dyslexia ruining the pleasure of reading. I'm not dyslexic, but I can imagine that being so would make reading a no-no. But audiobooks, mate, audiobooks. I know enough about you, young Jimmy Quinn, to know that you are an erudite and, you know, learned chap. You know, a bit of innate wisdom, a bit of life wisdom, and if you don't already, then I think you should enjoy some of the must-reads, but enjoy them on audiobook, and that solves the issue. And audiobooks are so accessible these days. I love an audiobook, always have done. So there you go, that's my advice. He's rubbing himself, says Black Lines. Wait until he discovers Pepsi Max. Dear God, I love Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max is my pop. Do people still call it pop? Do you remember when the pop man used to come round with his van? And you'd get tuppence back on the empty bottles as you got your new bottle of cream soda or dandelion and burdock. Oh, God, happy days, eh? But my favourite pop would be Pepsi Max. But whilst it gives me pleasure and enjoyment and refreshment, it doesn't give me an orgasm. It doesn't give me a stomach orgasm the way that this stuff did. Oh, there's none left. It's low tide at Wine Bay. We can soon rectify that. I'd love it, says Matt, if he just closed the stream and drank the bottle off cam. Better still, just stop talking, drink the bottle, say goodnight. I was bloody tempted. You don't know how tempted I was to do that the other night with that amazing long duck. I still don't know how much that cost. I need another bottle of that before I die. I'm going to check out how much it costs, and the next time I'm in funds, I'm going to treat myself. Although, I'll give you a bit of forewarning. You can tell me when I should do this. Bear with. We've got this coming up at some point. Now then, that was from my lovely neighbour Nick when his BMW, I told you about it at the time, when his Z4 got sideswiped by a truck that had to do an emergency turnaround down our little lane. And I managed to video it and get a record. And so rather than having to use his own insurance or his own money, he was able to fully claim from the company because the driver did a drive-off. But fortunately, I was watching. And as a result, I copped for what is rather a nice bottle of Chablis. And until I tried that long duck, Chablis is my favourite mid-range tipple. So, yeah, I'm going to enjoy that bad boy sometime soon. Next time we got something to celebrate, or it's just Monday, something like that. Where did I get to? Oh, a hidden comment from Jimmy Quinn. He just had an orgasm. I had a winegasm. I had a winegasm. Hey all, says Dinosaur Dad, who I now know is called Ross. We are now on a first name basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, my lovelies, my cutch of lovelies, please meet Ross, who you may only know thus far as Dinosaur Dad, but he's also Ross, and we are now proper friends on proper first name terms. Anyway, Ross says, hey all, can't believe you guys are all still up, just in time for the wine review. God, am I that far behind on the comments? I'd better plough through these. Somebody pass him a tissue, says Steve. Getting apple, isn't that cider? Well, no, you get... Mustard says, I'm getting point de suspension. Pissed. Fair play. Mike is also getting pissed. It's not white lightning, Jimmy Quinn. Oh, hello. Hey, that doesn't make sense. No, Mike, I'm not getting pissed, says Mustard. Note the ellipses. Not sure about that. Oh, right. Matt says, I should be buying this wine for the ladies in future. Yeah, if it has that effect on them, you'd be in like Flynn, matey. Oh, which takes me back to David Niven, and I think the second of his autobiographies, talking about In Like Flynn, where he and his friends play a prank on what's his name? What's his name? Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn. But the prank is of a very sexual nature, and so I probably can't tell you. I'll have to save that for a bedtime story. But any of you who've read the book Bring on the Empty Horses will know exactly what I'm talking about. GPS says he's having an orgasm over wine. Yeah, I am. Totally. You would too if you drank it. I'm not ashamed to have a winegasm in front of you people. We're all friends. Who's paying for all of this, says Mike? Well, if you mean the wine, this comes courtesy of Underscore, my unpaid intern who's worth every penny I don't pay him. And talking of Underscore, he says, have you seen the video from Richard Hammond this week? No, I haven't. The travel show one? No, I haven't. I think we could borrow some of that idea to use for the community relay event. Ah, interesting. I just Googled it, says Jimmy Quinn. A kebab shop in Yarmouth that they sell chicken doner kebab. Yeah, but they're just wrong as well. You can't have a chicken doner kebab. And I am unanimous in that. Don't Google bloody kebab shops. Google doner kebab, and find out what Wikipedia, which is probably bloody wrong anyway, find out what the definition of doner kebab is. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not chicken. I'll Google it myself in a bloody minute. Where's my phone? Except I need to get through these comments, don't I? Oh, right. Liz says she's done the job for me. Doner debate. Quote Wikipedia. Bollocks. Oh, sorry. They are predominantly made of chicken, but occasionally beef, and called simply kebab. What are? I don't understand this. I don't understand, Liz. Doner kebabs are not predominantly made of chicken. No, you've completely lost me on that. I haven't got a clue. I'm losing the plot. I'm sure I can get some work done at POL, says Rover Joe. It is, of course, Pride of Longridge on Saturday. The weather is looking hopeful. Tomorrow is going to be wet. Well, I'm talking about here. I don't know about Birmingham. Tomorrow's going to be wet pretty much all day from lunchtime on tomorrow. But Saturday is due to be dry. So as long as the I don't know, whatever godforsaken field this shenanigans is being held in, doesn't get overly waterlogged tomorrow, you'll all be good to go. And I hope you are. I genuinely do. And I hope you all have a fabulous time. And I hope to see some of you on Sunday at my little do, where I will be booking a table tomorrow. I'm still watching the Chance in a Million episode, says Matt, as I normally put a few together in a queue when I go to bed. I'll take the hate. Women of that era were far more attractive than today's celebs. Interesting. Well, we're talking about Chance in a Million, so, you know, the love interest or the totty in Chance in a Million is Brenda Blethyn, who, well, I mean, she was a comely wench, but I'm not sure that she would make it in today's lineup of what is considered OnlyFans material. I mean, she was very girl next door, wasn't she, Brenda Blethyn? But she seemed to have no compunction in getting a kit off. I mean, episode 1 of Chance in a Million, we're about 17 minutes in, kit off. There she is, in her bloomers, with her arse sticking out of Tom Chance's scullery window. You know, not a skinny little arse either. I mean, you know, the kind of arse that, not a massive arse, not the kind of arse that you'd say, well, the last time I saw something like that, it had a saddle on it and it was winning the Grand National. But nonetheless, an arse of sufficient magnitude that if she bent over in front of you, you'd say, look, don't point that at me, for God's sake, it might go off. Anyway, Rover Joe says 30 pages a day and I should be okay. Good luck with that. Thomas is with us and says, can confirm degree work left late is always a pain. Got the master's thesis due soon. Safe to say I'm not having too much fun. Yeah, been there, done that. I didn't have too much fun either. Steve says, re-Madonna on a vintage bike. I'm one new tyre away from getting my old 1984 Dave Marsh 531 track bike on the road. Fixie wanker. Don't call it a fixie. You are a wanker if you call it a fixie. It's a fixed. It's a fixed, dear boy. And if you're using it on the road, it's a road track. I used to train, this will be of interest to Steve and probably nobody else, and I don't care, but I'm a massive advocate of a fixed. I used to train every winter on a 69-inch fixed. Steve will know what that means, you guys might not, but you'll just have to bear with me for 2 minutes while I do some bike talk. Riding a fixed will develop the souplesse or the coup de pedale, as it's known, that you won't get from riding gears. And when you ride a fixed wheel, you need to learn to freewheel. Now, obviously you can't freewheel on a fixed gear, but you do learn the knack of turning your legs off and just allowing the pedals to turn them around. Now, that develops a souplesse in your legs, which allows your legs to turn at like 140 RPM. And then you simply apply some muscularity to them in order that you can spin out whatever gear you happen to be on and simply have a higher top end than anybody else, which is the way that I used to sprint. I was a good sprinter, I was a good galloper, but I wasn't what you would normally call a sprinter. I wasn't a kick sprinter like Cavendish or somebody like that. I was a short range rouleur like somebody like Guido Bontempi or Jan Raas. And I just had the ability to turn a gear quicker than anybody else. The French call it having a higher top end. And that was developed through years and years and years of riding a 69-inch fixed. And my last thought on the subject is that Tony Doyle, a man of not a hugely naturally talented man, but the ultimate consummate professional, I think the best ride he ever did, and he was a multiple world champion, was he rode the Clarence Wheelers medium gear 25 and did a 56-minute 25 on a 69-inch gear, which is just insane. I think I'm right in that. Steve will know. Liz says, Rover Joe, I'm studying an MBA at the moment, plus working full-time, so I feel your pain. Requested a deadline extension for POL purposes where there will be no textbooks. I'll be glad when it's all done, says Rover Joe. I finish in May and then I'm free. And they're having a bit of a chat about that. And Rover Joe is doing a BA in graphics arts. Stephen S. Paul has joined us from across the Herring Pond. And Mike is, or was, off to bed. Good night, Jason. Good night, humans. Early start for me. Be nice. Good night to you, Mike, unless you've already gone, in which case, good night anyway. And hopefully you'll hear us through the ether. Simone says, night, everyone. I still have gut rot. Gosh, you're not the, oh, dear me. You do have your trials, don't you, Simone? You seldom seem to be firing on all cylinders, my lovely. You need more wine and red meat in your diet. That's what you need. Oh, hello. Ross agrees with Matt. Yes, I agree. And this is in terms of the 1980s pin-up type thing. But I think this younger generation just seem to... Oh, no, he's talking about something else. Right, ignore that. And Jimmy would rather listen to music than an audiobook. Fair enough. Mike said good night again. Matt says, I still say I haven't paid over £10 yet, and I think he's talking about wine. In fact, I think I've stayed below 9. I'm frugal. Well, if that bloody long duck came in at under 9, then, oh, I'm seriously impressed. That's going to feature in my life. As is this, because I'm picturing enjoying this outside on one of my patios on a summer lunchtime with, oh, what would this pair really well with? It's not a Momo wine, definitely not a Momo wine. This would actually go really well with, bizarre as it sounds, that would go really well with a really nice beef burger, homemade beef burger with homemade chips. That would go splendidly with that. Or something chickeny. Something chickeny. Yeah. So Simone's off to sleep. Yeah, gosh, you're slow sometimes, Boaty, says Mustard. And then he says, I need to go. Sorry. Right. Is everybody saying good night? Have we reached that time? I suppose we have. Oh, okay. Matt says, not necessarily Brenda Blessing, but the background characters. Right. Oh, the ladies in the phone box. Yeah. Good God, I've caught up with comments. Steve says, same. I used to train on fixed in the winter with a loaded saddlebag on the back. Do you know what I used to have? And I would recommend this to anybody. My father, who was my first coach, when I was riding my 69-inch fixed, and my first fixed was a 21.5-inch Mercian, and then that became an all-chrome Carlton road track. I had to ride all the time with an orange inner stocking tied to the top tube. And no matter what speed I was doing, I had to make, unless I was cornering, I had to make sure that when I looked down on the top tube, the orange wasn't swaying from left to right, which kind of seemed idiotic at the time, but looking back, it was one of those training methods that are utterly, utterly wise, because of course they teach you to be smooth, and any movement that you are creating with your muscular force that is doing anything other than driving the bicycle forwards is wasted movement. And it used to drive me mad seeing, we used to call them chicken chasers, people doing all of that and the bike going all over the place, where I was always utterly, utterly smooth. And that was one of the reasons. One, riding fixed, and the other was an orange inner stocking tied to the top tube. And my absolute fear that that orange shouldn't go outside of the top tube completely. You should never be able to see the edge of the orange outside the top tube. The old methods, eh? Old school. Jimmy Queen says, one of the funniest comedy sitcoms was Just Good Friends with Paul Nicholas. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Penny was her name, wasn't it? And I can't remember who played her. Jan? No, I can't remember, but it was jolly good. Boaty says, Matt, are there 3 little dots at the top of your chat? If so, press it and select timestamps. Then you can see if people will be in after saying goodnight, and also keep you with the current chat. No, there aren't 3 little dots. I'm on the app. I'm not on a browser. Under Nyquin from Sainsbob's. Brilliant. Should I be smirking at the words riding 69 fixed? And now he's on about stockings, says Liz. Right, no, that's bicycle gearing, 69 inch. And I can't remember how you achieve a 69. It's right, gears are measured in inches. God, I've forgotten this now. And I think they are the number of inches that a bicycle will move forward in any particular gear with 1 complete revolution of the pedals, I think. And I can't remember what 69 is, but I mean, I can tell you what 108 is. 108 inch gear is 5213. So a 52 tooth chainring allied to a 13 inch sprocket is 108. That much I can remember. Oh, and 54 inch is 4219. And I still believe that any hill that can't be climbed on a 54 inch gear deserves to be walked. You should have to walk. Liz. It's normally me who does the, yeah, can't remember how to achieve 69, common problem. Well, at my age, definitely. Guys and girls, my cutch of lovelies, I think the time has come where we should really start to think about heading off to bed. Some of you already have, and the rest of us should probably follow your lead. I've got oodles of this lovely wine left, and I'm going to enjoy it. What else have I got to tell you? Now, in theory, this will be my last live stream until Monday. I've just got a little feeling it won't be. I'm so feeling the community love at the moment that I'm inclined to pop on over the weekend, even if it's just for 20 minutes at some ungodly hour, just to check in and say hello and goodbye. Excuse me. Gosh, that winegasm has made me feel a little drunk after a mere 1 glass. So, what have we got to look forward to, darlings? It's Thursday night, so obviously you've got the weekend. Obviously you've got Pride of Longbridge. You've got my meeting, Peak District Sunday lunch is on Sunday. meeting at 12 o'clock at the Highwayman pub in Eastmoor. And the idea is we have a mingle on the car park. It's a big old car park. You can go to Ignition Cars and Coffee next door, where there will be lots of exotic supercars for you to have a look at. You can meet up with some people, you can have a chat, and if you fancy it, then at 1 o'clock you can go into the pub and have lunch with me. And full details of that can be found by the Facebook group, Boaty's World on Facebook. I'm sure you'll have millions of Pride of Longridge videos to look forward to. I genuinely do hope that you all enjoy the show and the meet, and that some of you guys, some of you Kutch of Lovelies, get to meet each other for the first time. And this community thing that we've got going on has a little together moment. And I'm sorry I can't be there. And I hope we have another little together moment on Sunday at my humble little thing here in the Peak District. Yeah, that is pretty much, that's about it really, isn't it? It's time to go to bed. Live streams tomorrow night. You may have Simon, Project MGTF. You may have Mustard. You may even have 20 minutes of me. I might do midnight until past, something like that. Just to check in, just to say hello, because I miss you when I don't do that. You know, when it's been a busy night at work, I can't be asked to do 2 hours. I'd love to, but I'm just too tired to do it. And you wouldn't want that when you've already endured at least 2 live streams anyway. But I do like popping on just to say hello. So I might do that this weekend. I might do it tomorrow night, just to pop on and say, I hope you have a great day at POL tomorrow, if anybody's still up. And if they're not up, they can watch it on catch up. I might do it on Saturday to say hi, hope it went really well, hope to see some of you on Sunday. And I might do one on Sunday, just 20 minutes, half an hour, to say, well, this is what I'm doing on Monday. And if any of you are free, you might like to come and do it with me. And thanks for those of you who came and had lunch with me on Sunday. So there we are. Yeah, okay, point taken, Matt, point taken. So thank you, Matt, for the wine. I hope you've enjoyed this little time of togetherness. I've certainly loved it, absolutely loved it. And I will catch you next time. That is definitely a summer lunchtime wine. And the Long Dark is definitely an evening midnighty wine. So I've got 2 new wines in my life. I've got lunches and evenings sorted. Well, I will have when I can afford them. Right, my darlings, I will of course play you out in my habitual style. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being wonderful. It's been a sheer joy. Here we go. I'm going to forget to unmute it, aren't I? Yeah, I forgot to unmute it. Let's go back to the start. I don't want you to miss a fart. Here we go. Good idea, Matt. I have added it to the descriptions of the live stream videos, but I'll put it on Facebook as well. Lovely. All right, guys, you have yourselves a great night. Do take care. And if I'm not going to see you over the weekend, have a fabulous weekend, and I'll catch up with you next time. All right, my loves. Thank you so much. Good night. Oh, it worked.